Hey everybody, it's Omar. It is January 12th, 2020, 10:27 a.m. In the morning, and I wanted to make a video about my watch list for tomorrow. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, watchotrade. I've been doing live commentary, and I had a fantastic week last week. Just capturing stocks at the open off my scanner. So I use E-Trade Pro. And these are the scanners. I have a pre-market scan that literally like at 7 a.m. it just bloop, it just pops up, and I just been capturing gap and craps. So tomorrow I have a watch list with pre-planned plays, but if I see something moving pre-market, I'm gonna take full advantage of that. So make sure to follow me. But I'm gonna give you a watch list for tomorrow of stocks that I'm potentially watching. Let me just pull back up my okay. And let me just pull that over. And these are the stocks that I'm watching. So the first stock that I want to talk about is JD. JD, obviously, very easy breezy, right? Last week, I gave you a money play last week on JD to basically buy that breakout once it broke out and pulled back, and you would have got. And I think the initial entry or the original breakout level was over here. I think it was right around this $38 level, and now we're at 39.50. But it was an easy breezy play for everyone. Right, don't reinvent the wheel. The next breakout level is 39.50, right? And we had a red day, so it closed weak. Now, so all I'm doing is I'm watching. All right, so here's the breakout level, and here's where it kind of pulled back to. This is the previous day's close price, this yellow line, and it's kind of holding. So I want to see. Now it could tomorrow break out. If it breaks out tomorrow and pulls back and holds 39.50, then ride it. Just keep riding it long. I mean, it's gonna just keep moving up. And then what you want to do is see what the next overhead resistance level is, which I didn't map. I'm sorry about that. So I would just go back and look on the daily. Let's go back maybe like 10 years and see where the next overhead level is above 39.50. So the next level above 39.50 would be 40. So I would be looking at that $40 level to see how it's going to react to 40. So I would map a line at 40, and at 40 it may dump, but you see where the gap fill is? The actual gap fill is 40.40. So this is a key level here, and I would put like a red line there, because I would just change the color just to really call it out, to say, hey, this is a real potential area where people may just like dump, it may just really dump there and pull back hard before it potentially can go even higher if it was intended to go higher. So, but on the other side, because remember, we play the price action, right? We just play the volatility. We can be bullish long term, but the short term could be a pullback, right? So what I would be seeing is that if it doesn't hold 39.50, if it attempts this, then short it, risking the 39.50 if it attempts that level, and then look for where the buyer stepped in. Buyer stepped in around this 39, 20, and I would say this level here, which is the 39 sort of 14 level, and look to take profit there and see how it reacts. Maybe it keeps dumping more. All right, or let's say at the open, pre-market just starts dumping, and then it breaks down and it gaps up, and it kind of like attempts to break above this $38.90, $39 level and rejects it, then short it there, risking there, and look for the next level down, which would be the 38.70, and then the next level below that would be somewhere around here. This I would say like right around this 38.60 level. And this red line is where it originally broke out. So 38.54 would be like a potential area where I would be looking to see if it held this to go long, because maybe long term it's going to keep going up. So that's how you play the stocks, guys. Don't overthink this. All right, but JD has a lot of volume, has a lot of range, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Next up, SRNE. Now SRNE, the reason why I put this on my watch list, so I'll go back 1 year, just to say, look, this is a stock that gapped up to 650, then kind of cracked to 139, and now it's been on this uptrend, right? So it kind of like gapped up, and then it pulled back, and then it gapped up again to 404, then it pulled back to 302, then it gapped up to 438, then it pulled back to 311, right? So 311 is really like where a lot of buyers are at currently, right? And then it gapped up again to this 498. Now, what I would be looking to see is, okay, very simple. If it breaks below, right, this 460 level, in pre-market, and then at the open gaps up and rejects this, then short it, because you got all these overhead bag holders who are gonna just sell, to get their, just they're gonna try to get out of their position. So this will drive the price of the stock down. And if 440 can't hold, because this is where buyers stepped in, then it's gonna break down even further, and it's probably gonna get back to 386. Now, if it pulls back and gets above and holds this sort of 467 level, or even really like this I would say this 4 sort of 90 level, then take it long, but just be careful, because it can dump at any one of these levels above. All right. So, but if, and that's it. And that's why I'm watching it, just to potentially see. It doesn't have a lot of range, but I just put it on there just so you could see. Next up, CPAH. So CPAH, let me see why I put this on the watch list. So it had this crazy gap, right? Look what happens though. Every time it gaps, it gives it back. See, every time it gapped, it gives it back. And you can go, sometimes you got to go back further in time. Go a few years back, 5 years, 10 years. Look at this. Every time it gaps, look at these. All throughout the years, every time it gaps, it craps. It doesn't hold the gains. So what I would be looking for, potential backside move at some point. Now, it got up to this 445 level, pulled back to this 370, kind of 359 level, right? So I'd be looking to see what is it going to do. If it gaps up and it can't break that, and just take it short and write it down to at least the $3 level. And if it can't hold 3, this thing is heading all the way back to this 174 level, So, that's what I would be looking for. That's what you do, guys. You play the momentum, you play the range. Just keep watching that. But if it pulls back and holds one of these levels, then you just take it long and ride it the other way and just get out. That's what these traders do. And the reason why you see these traders that you follow on Twitter make a lot, it's because they're taking size. They're going in 5,000 shares, 10,000 shares, 8,000 shares. So remember, if you take even 3,000 shares and you get 40 cents, that's $1,200, Or you recycle. Let's say you take 3,000 shares and you're looking for 10-cent scalps. Every time you get 10 cents, that's $300, and it just adds and adds and adds and adds. So that's how a lot of these traders make a lot of money. When you're new, you don't really get that, because it just moves so fast for you. But over time, it starts to make sense. All right. So next up is NKTR. NKTR. Now, why was this on my watch list? Because this is on the yearly. Well, first off, it had this big move. But look at this, right? This is where the gap fill is, 2786. You see? This is a gap fill. That's why it's called filling the gap. What happens is a lot of times these stocks fill the gap and then they dump. Okay. Now, so what you want to see is, okay, what's going to happen? You see it form like this stair pattern where, like, these are called bull flags. You see it gaps up, forms this flag, and then gaps up, flag, and backs up. It didn't wash yet. And, what I would be looking to see is if it retests this 2786, and just put an alert there. If you got Thinkorswim, very easy. If you want to be able to just be disciplined, if 2786 is the gap fill, you want to put a few cents below. And if you want to make a note, just say gap fill area. And then what you do is it'll alert you. It'll alert you right near the area. What I would be expecting is that it's probably going to fill that gap and take a big dump, and then probably pull back to one of these levels, either 26 or it could get as far back as it could give it all back. But if it dumps and holds these levels, you could just ride the momentum where shorts would cover and just ride that quick momentum, and that's it. It's very, very simple. Now, if it breaks above 2786, this thing can move. It has the potential to go. But again, you want to make sure that you map the level of overhead resistance where you could potentially, get dumped on. So you got to be careful. Look, this is where a lot of buyers stepped in. So this 29.19 level, and right here, this 29.94. So let me just zoom in here. I mean, it's not a lot of volume here, but potentially 30 bucks. So 30 bucks would be a potential area that I'd be looking to take profit. All right, and you just ride the momentum, guys. You see how it reacts to those levels. That's it. You don't overcomplicate this. All right, next up, Rare. Now I added Rare on my watch list only because look at the range. This thing went from 48 to 58, 10 points. All right, 10 points. Okay, now again, the daily chart tells the story, right? So if I go to the daily, I go back 1 year. This is a stock that got up to 74.50. And then it took a huge dump back to $35, and now it's back on its upward trend. You know, gapped up. There's a lot of overhead resistance, but if it can get above and hold this high of 58.54, it has range to 62 bucks. All right, because this is where the buyer stepped in. All right, and really it could get as high as 63.71. Now, what I would expect, so what I would be doing tomorrow, you see gapped up and then pulled back and held. So tomorrow, if it opens and it can't hold this, like if it breaks down and then gaps up and rejects it, take it down because it's heading back. I mean, you got potentially 5 points on the downside, even more. But if it holds, it could squeeze and keep running. That's it. That's it, guys. It's not rocket science. You know, that's what you're looking for. All right, so that's rare. MAXR. MAXR, now the reason why I put this on my watch list because it's at that yearly breakout level, just like JD. So it's not you know, it's not rocket science. It's an easy technical chart to read. If it breaks over 2018 and holds, take it long and keep riding it up, and just, you know, and then what you want to do again is always see where the next level of resistance is. So let's say I'll go back 10 years, and if it gets above that, look at this. There's a gap to fill right here at this candle. Let me zoom in, which is that 21.24. So that's super important to map. And I'll just put here 21.24. And it's probably going to dump there. But if it breaks that and holds, that's why I probably would change the color here, because that's so significant. Just make it red. That if it could get above that and that resistance becomes support, yeah, the gap to fill all the way up here. All right, which is the low of this, which is 26.30. All right, so that from a technical standpoint, that's something to look at now. But what about if it goes the other way, right? So if it doesn't hold, if it breaks down, now this is where the buyer stepped in. So if it can't hold this level, it breaks below it, gaps up, wait for a spike to see, and if it can't hold it, this is probably heading all the way back down to this $18 level. So just watch how it reacts. Okay. Next up, GSX. GSX, now this was on my watch list because another stock that's just on a 1 year breakout level. So don't reinvent the wheel, very easy. If it breaks above 27.10, pulls back and holds, take it long. If it can't hold 26.37, breaks down, you can look to short it on a pop and capture one of these areas, or just look for a potential area. This is the previous yearly breakout level. So if it holds this 25.66, take it long because the trend looks bullish. It looks like it's going to maybe a continuation, but that's not always the case. So just ride the wave. That's it. And then last but not least, this AMRN, which is, you know, it's been like a beast, and it's a shitty stock. I can't even believe it's been riding this long. But you know, it gapped up to 26.12, and you know, they had some bad, I don't know, some bad PR or some shit about the stock. You know, because it's on this trend, I think it's on a downward trend. I think this stock first stop is this 18.62, and then the gap to fill below is this $18 level, and then I think it's heading back to 15 bucks. I mean, if you can get puts on this, I would say, you know, ride this down. But from a technical standpoint, right, what you want to see is, okay, this is where the buyers are. If you see a gap and you see it like dumps right at this level or this level, this is where you take it short and just keep looking for that breakdown. All right, I don't think it's gonna get all the way back up. All right, the overall trend is down. So it's like, you know, it's the opposite of going long. You play the same way, the opposite of going long. All right, where the bag holders are. So the bag holders are really, they got stuck here. So if it gaps up here, you're gonna get a pullback if it gets to this level, and you can ride that down. And me, I can go, you know, I go in 2,000-3,000 shares real quick, and I can get quick 30-40 cents. You know, that's if I got 3,000 shares. Let's say I get filled, that's 1,500 bucks. If I get 50 cents, 1,240 cents, 930 cents. The problem is I got E-Trade, and the fills are not the best. I get a lot of partial fills. So another thing, before I end this video, Thinkorswim is about to have direct market access, which means that you can pay for the DAS platform, which all the other, you know, brokers, where all the serious traders are like Centerpoint and Speed Trader, and your fills are like instantaneous, and your short availability is instantaneous. That is like a super game changer, guys. So, and they're already working on it. Supposed to be live by the end of February. I'm just waiting. As soon as it goes live, I am going to absolutely get in on that. and just, you know, we'll see where it goes from there. So that's a game changer. So again, these are my watch list. There are so many plays, guys. I mean, this market is crazy. There's so much activity. And again, guys, use those pivots. I've been talking about them really quickly. I'll just, you know, you can map them on any chart. Like, for example, this is my E-Trade chart. And just to show you how pivots react, like, look at AMD. Look at where it bounced. And the way you add the pivots, like it's just very simple. You just go to studies and you go to pivot points. Yahoo Finance has charts. You could mark pivot points, and stocks react well because all pivot points are support and resistance levels. That's it. And they're very helpful for me to identify where trend reversals take place. So I hope you found this helpful. Watch or follow me on Twitter, watchotrade, YouTube, watchotrade, and Instagram, which I like Instagram. That's really where I really want to. YouTube and Instagram is really where I want to keep my focus. I don't really like Twitter that much anymore. It's just a lot of noise, a lot of whining and complaining, and I don't know. So anyway, let me know what you think of the video. Let me know if you've been capitalizing on some of these plays and what you're looking at. All right, guys, so have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.